everyone, it's Dawn here from Dawn's Inspirations. Just wanted to share a little project with you. I made this at a class at a retreat that I run every year, and this was one of the classes that we did over the weekend, and it's a decorative MDF box with a mini book inside, and we decorated the whole box, all the outside, with nice pattern papers and embellishments, as you can see there. And then we did the lid on the top with the photograph to what the album was going to be inside. We decorated the inside of the box lid as well with a nice little saying there, and then right inside the decorative box, it's an MDF box, we made a little mini album, and this is a one and done mini album. So you've got the little flap opening here, decorated all the front with some flowers and some twirls, and then inside we've then got the pages that open out and take lots of photographs. These take 6x4 photographs that can be cut down. It's just a nice little simple album with fold out flaps, so it's very easy for anybody to do, even a beginner. So it's a very quick album to do and a very nice gift. Obviously we did the album inside the decorative box. I thought I'd just show you how we're going to put that together. Not the same colour scheme or theme with this one, unfortunately, because we ran out of these all got sold out. But I thought I'd share one with you again today. So I've got my MDF box, but got this from the MDF man. I'll put a link on my website where you can get him. He's based in the UK. I don't think he does online sales anymore. You have to catch him at the shows now to pick up the boxes. And this is just the nice decorative box. So all I've done with this so far is I've painted this with some normal household emulsion paint, just a couple of coats. That's all that takes. So I've prepped that all ready. And I thought the next thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and make the album. So for this you're going to need 2 sheets of 12x12 cardstock. I've got some basil cream here just so it fits in with the colour scheme that I'm using, but you can use any colour at all that you like. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut this down so it measures 12 by 5.5. Now the reason we're doing 5.5 inches is so this mini album will fit inside the box. So I'll just go ahead and cut this up. As I'm saying, you can use any cardstock you like and any colour you like. So there's no sort of right or wrongs with this. So that's the 4th one. So that's my 4 strips of cardstock. They're all there ready. Okay, now we're going to use the score pal and we're going to start scoring these to make into our album. So if you get the first one, and I've got, with this basil you've got a pattern on one side, so I'm going to have that on the outside of my mini book. So I'm going to put it into the scoring, my score pile like this. Just bring that down so you can see that very well. Okay, and then for the first sheet, this is going to be the front cover. I'm going to score at 4 inches and at 5 inches and at 9.25 inches and 10.25 inches. Now you know me with my scoring, I like to just flip over and reinforce the scores just to help the paper not crack when we come to fold it. So that's the first sheet, so you just need to pop that to one side. Right, the next side is page 2. So for this we are then going to score at 3 inches, and this bit is going to be your first flap, and then we're going to score at 7 inches and then again at 8 inches. I'm going to just flip that over, so 3, 7, 9. Now the trick with this is lay one on top of the other and just leave them on top of the other. That's the best way I can tell you how to do it. Right, the next one is page 3. So we're going to score this at 4 inches, 4 3/4 inches, and then we're going to score this at 8 3/4 inches. And this time this bit's going to be your flap. So I'm going to turn it over again. So 4, 4 3/4, 8 3/4, and then lay that on top of the others again. Page 4. So we're going to now score at 3 1/2. This is going to be our flap, and then we're going to score at 7 1/2 and 8 inches. And that's going to be your spine. Flip it over just to reinforce the score lines on those. Okay, so I'm going to bring my mat back in, and we're going to now fold these all to match. Now if we start with the bottom page, this is going to be your cover. So just now reinforce these folds with your bone folder. So this first bit is going to be your spine. This next piece here that I'm now folding is going to be the bit that flaps over the front of your book. Okay, so your book then will look like that. So that's the flappy over bit. So that is your front cover. So now pop that to one side. Get the one that's underneath again. You should have stacked these one on top of the other. So the first one this time is going to be your flap. And then the 2 folds here, this is going to be your spine. Just fold those over. Okay, so lay that on top of that one again. Get your next one. This time the first 2 are going to be your spine. And the next one is going to be your flap. Lay that again on top. And your last page, start off with your flap, and then your spine. Okay, so now you should have 4 lots of paper that are looking like this, and we're now going to join these together. Okay, so if we start with the bottom one, this is your front cover. Okay, and if you get the next one, this is going to be your spine that we need to attach to there. So we now need to put some adhesive on here so we can attach your spine. For this I'm going to use a thick double-sided tape. I'm just using a normal tape for this. You can use red line as well. This is just because this is thicker, I thought I'm going to use this today. So let me just take that backing off. And as you can see, it's not quite wide enough, so I'm going to need to put another sheet on. So if I just take this piece off to start. There we go. And then I'm going to run another piece alongside it. I wouldn't advise using wet glue for the spine bits of your book, purely because you will be waiting for them to dry, and that's why I find the adhesive tape is better for the spines themselves. Okay, so that's the first spine. So just need to line that up now, and because these 2 fit the same, I'm just going to line them up one on the other, burnish that down, and that then is your spine of your book. So that's the first page. We now need to fit the next one in, so take the next one from the bottom. Now the spine on the next one is narrower, so we need to put some more tape on that, and I might just get away. Oh yes, I'm just going to get away with this tape for here as well. Don't worry if you haven't got wide tape, just use a couple of rows of the narrow tape. Perfectly alright. sticky on the end of my knife. I do find a craft knife is easier to get these up. Now this time with this one, your flap is on your right hand side, okay, but you just need to now line this up because this spine is going to be narrower than this spine, so you just need to line it up so it fits in just slightly inwards because it's not the same width. So there we go, I'm happy with that. What I've done there is when I've stuck it in, as you can see, I don't know if you can quite see on camera, but there is the fold of the spine and I've just gone in a bit. So when you open it the other side, you've got the same as again, you've got a little bit of a gap. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and put the last one on. So we've got flap and then the spine. And obviously the spine is narrower on this one, so I think I might have to use my red tape for this because it's that thickness. So I'm just going to put a row of the red tape down here, but as I say, you don't have to use red tape. Normal double-sided tape is perfectly alright for this book. It's just what I've got for the thickness of the spines at the time. Okay, so this one there again is going to be a bit narrower. You've got your flap first on this one, so we're going to then stick it down. That's it, press that down, and there you go. That is your book, your mini book, now complete. So let me just put it all together and show you. So this is now your mini book, and this is called a one and done mini album. So you've got the flap that opens it, the book opens up, you've got a flap on the first, well not the, yeah, the first page really, a book, just a page there, another flap. This is the centre of the book. As we open up the other side, you've got another flap, you open it up again and again. So that is called a one and done album. So that's now complete, and that was very quick and easy to do. And then you need to just go ahead and cover that with some pattern paper. And to save time, I've already gone ahead and covered mine. For this project I've used the Craftwork cards, and it's the Time Flies collection. It's a nice collection with lots of creams and purples and pinks. It's got lots of clocks and butterflies and things. That's the paper collection I'm using for this project. So I've gone ahead, I've covered all the elements of my mini album already, and what I tend to do is I always measure just 1/4 of an inch in, so you still see the cream of the album, and then you've just got like that little border. And then a top tip from me is, rather than inking all your edges, get your pro markers and just pro mark around the edge of the pages, and it just finishes off so you don't get that just cut look, because I must say I'm not that keen on the just cut look, but it just saves time rather than inking all your pages. So as you can see, I've gone ahead and I've got this already covered, so all that needs now is to have my photos added. Okay, so that album's ready to go. I need to do the front fastening on this. I'm not going to put lots of flowers like we did. Let me show you the one we did for the other project, because this was a different paper collection. I did flowers on this and some twirls. I'm not going to do that on here because I like this element here with this pattern paper, so I'm not going to do that, but I am going to make a cover to slip you know, slip this front piece underneath and hold it still. So I'm just going to show you how we're going to make that. I've cut a piece of cardstock that I'm using through the whole of my project to match in a dusky pink, and then I've cut another element out of the paper collection itself, and then I've got a metal butterfly here. Now I wasn't that keen on having the totally brass look, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to colour these with some treasured gold. Now I don't know whether any of you have used treasured gold. It's a great project to use. It's quite been quite used quite a lot now in the industry, and I'm just going to have a look. I think I'm going to go for the white. This is called White Fire Treasured Gold, and it's just like a wax gold paste. And what you do a little goes a long way. If you get a tiny little bit on a brush, and I always put it round the lid of my pot, and then these are metal, so I'm just going to lay it flat, and then if you just brush over, if I just do half and show you, just brush it all into there, and if I get a soft cloth and take the worst off, as you can see, it just takes that brass element off. So that's the shiny side and that's the non-shiny side. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish doing that. Once you've brushed it right in, just use your brush and work it right into it. Then with the soft cloth, you just rub the worst off. It then doesn't come off on your hands afterwards, so anybody handling the book afterwards, it won't come off. And then I can just bend that up into the position I want. So if I show you again on the front cover, we're going to use these on the front cover of our box. These are two little book corners. There again, they're in the brass effect. Okay, so if I colour one to show you, smooth it all round. There's obviously different colours. You get gold, you get silver, you get pewter. Then also now starting to do lots of the really bright colours like the blues and the greens as well, and the tan colours. So you get lots of colours of this, but it just means when you're buying elements like these and you don't like the colour, it doesn't match your project, you know, you can change them. So if I just show you these in the palm of my hand, so you've got the one that's coloured and the one that's not. So when you're buying brass elements, don't think, oh well, I don't really like the colour of that, I prefer it to be silver. You can do, not a problem at all. But as I say, I'm using the white fire for this one. So there's the lid there. And a little of this goes a long way. Once you buy a pot of this, it will last you forever. It just seems to go on and on because you don't use a lot at all. So give that a brush off, because we're going to use these on our front cover. I'm going to set those aside, they're done. I'm going to keep my butterfly. So that's your treasured gold, if you've not used that before. I'm going to use that as well on the edge of our box. If you look on the edge of this box, I've used the silver, and I use the silver also for the corner elements here as well. So as you can see, these were brass as well, but I've made them silver. So that is the beautiful, you know, the beauty of that project. You can change your metal findings and elements that you have. So a good project, a good product to have. So what I want to do now is I just want to ink this at this stage. I'm not going to use my Pro marker on this one, because I want to give a bit more dimension to this. I'm going to use Dusty Concord for this. And get the lid off. So I'll put a little bit on my mat. I'm just going to go around the edges just to give it a little bit of a distressed look. Okay, that's that bit, and then I'm just going to do the same with the pink. Just to take that edge off. I know we're covering this, but it's just me, I don't like the stark edges. So go right around that end bit there as well. That's that. So that can then be stuck onto there. So I'll put this to one side. Get some glue. I'm use my Calal all-purpose glue for this. I'll get the lid off. Put that just around the edge. Okay. Then I'm just going to stick that onto there. Stick that down firmly. Okay, and then that's going to be stuck onto my book, and then I'm then going to stick my butterfly on the top of that. I think I might use PVA for that. I'm going to use tape again for this one. I'm just positioning where I want to put that. Yeah, that's just going to go down the side again. I'm going to use my thick double-sided tape for this. So I'll take that one off first. There we go, take that one off. I'm going to put another piece of that on there. Should have made that one a bit longer, so I'll have to do another piece. So, pop that on there. Oops, sticking to me. It's because I should have made that piece longer in the first place. I was more concerned with it getting over the edges, and I didn't like there, so I'm going to have to smooth that over. Right, so that's now on there. So line up your book. At the moment my book looks quite flat. It's because I haven't got the photographs in it, but once your photographs are in, it does pop up, so just bear that in mind. And I'm going to put it about there. So I'm going to slide that bit out for a minute, and I'm going to open my book out just so I can get this pushed right down. Okay, put that on there, so that's going to then go under there. That's nice on there, right, and then I'm going to stick my butterfly on the top of the butterfly we've got here, just to give it a bit more dimension. And then so for this, I'm going to probably use some glossy accents today. Any glue will do, some glossy accents, some PVA glue, your hot glue gun, anything really will do. Haven't got to be too particular about it. So just stick that on top of there to give that a bit more dimension. So that just needs now to sit and dry. And what I will actually do is to get my perfect pearls, which I have in here. Should have got those out ready. And I think we're going to put some little pearls around the corner. I thought I did have a creamy coloured one, and I can't seem to. Oh, I've got a creamy coloured one. I think I'm going to use that. This is pearl liquid pearls, and this is platinum one. I just think the cream might fit in a bit better, so I'm just going to go ahead and put. You could use ordinary adhesive pearls if you wish. You haven't got to use these liquid ones. I like these because it saves you buying the adhesive ones, and I think they're quicker sometimes to stick on. You just have to allow time for the project to dry, that's the only thing. So stick those on there. So that is your mini book done to go inside your box. Okay, so we'll have a quick look at the box now and how we're going to prepare that. I've cut out some paper already. Going to use the Treasured Gold again. I'm going to stick to the same colour, and I'm just going to brush it just round the edges. It just gives a little bit of distressed look to it, and it just also takes that just painted look off your box. If you haven't got any Treasured Gold and you think, oh well, I haven't got any of that, I can't do that project, you can also use your distress inks, your ink pads. So don't think because you haven't got any that you can't use it, because you can. So just use your ink pads. Distress inks work just as well, and a sponge, that works just as well, and just go around the edges just so you're giving a sort of shabby chic vintage look to your box. I'm going to put a little bit up the corners here as well. As you can see, I'm not using a lot at all, and I'm doing it with the brush. You can do it with your fingers as well, but always when you take it out of there, always brush off the worst, because literally you do not need a lot of this product at all, as I say. But just look at how your box lies and how you're going to you know, you can put on as much or as little as you wish. It's entirely up to you. You might like the fresh painted look and not want to put any distressing elements on it. There again, it's personal preference, but I'm just showing you how we did the one at the retreat that I ran, and then you can see what we did. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I might just put a little bit round the top actually. Right, so that's the top bit done. Well, that's the main box done. Just drop my lid. So that's the main box done. And then what there again, as I say, with this product, lost my cloth. Just get your cloth afterwards, brush it off, and then when you run your fingers over it, it doesn't come off. So just go around, and then you can do that. Now what I've done for the main box is I've already cut myself out some card mats. I've cut these in the same colour as we use for the book itself, just so everything's coordinated and fitted in the same. So we're going to stick those on, and then I've also cut out myself some paper, pattern papers out of the collection as well to go on there as well, and I've inked all the edges with my Pro marker to take that just sort of finished, or just cut finish look off. So we can go ahead and stick those down. I've done the same as the book. I've got a 1/4 inch gap all the way around on these. Going to do another few little twists on here if I can find. I normally got a barbecue skewer and I haven't got one handy with me today. But just on this main book here, if I show you on the box, we did like the little elements where, let me take the lid off, you might be able to see a bit better, where I've just curled the paper just to give a different dimension to it. I put some more pearls on here, but I've just curled the paper, so it just gives it a different look really. So I'll go ahead and have a go at that with you. So because I've got the butterflies on this side, I'm probably not going to do it on that side. I'm going to do it on this side. So what you need to do is, I'm using a pokey tool here, but just curl it round and then just let it go. Okay, and then when you stick it down, you don't obviously stick that element then down. So let's go and stick that down on there. So wet glue again. I'm using the Calal all-purpose glue for this project. I think it's a fantastic glue. I must say I do use it a lot because you've got a little bit of wiggle room, so you can get that lined up. But use the glue that you feel better with. You know, if you want to use a glue runner, if you want to use PVA glue, that's entirely your choice. So that's the first one. I think I might do the same again with this one. I'll do it again on this side because there's not so much going on that paper. Okay. Not curled quite as I'd want it to. Put some glue on the back and get that stuck down. These little books in the boxes make an excellent gift to give to anybody really. They're just a nice little present. I made one for my mum for Mother's Day and put pictures of my children in it, so it was a nice little Mother's Day present for Nanny. So they do make a lovely gift. And the other thing you can do on this one that I did on the last one, I haven't done on this side yet because I haven't decided what pictures are going in here. You can put a name plaque. I bought some name plaques here. These were just from like the pound store, so you can get these little plaques. There again, don't panic if it's not the same colour that you want. You can use your treasured gold to colour it so everything matches up exactly the same, and then you can put what it's about. If it's pictures of a holiday or grandchildren, etc., you can then put a little name tag behind there and stick that down. So that's something I'll be doing once I've finished this project entirely. Okay, so let's just stick this last one down. And then we get these stuck on the box. So I get that put down on there. Now there again, to stick these on, I'm just going to use this same glue on the box because it sticks onto all sorts of things, but if not, use PVA if you feel more comfortable, as I say. So the shorter ones are going to stick at the end. Just make sure I've got the writing the right way around. So let's press that down, and that just needs then a little bit of time to take off. So that's one end. We'll put the other end on now as well. So make sure the writing's up the right way. Pop that on there. There we go. Slide that up. That's it. I've got that level where I want it. That's that one. Do the ones at the side now, so we need to put some glue on these. I mean, if you haven't got an MDF box, you could just use any box really. I mean, if you got a box that chocolates came in, you know, don't throw these things away. It doesn't have to be a wooden box or an MDF box. You could just use an old chocolate box and just paint it over with some household emulsion paint and then decorate it. So don't think you can't do this project because you don't have an MDF box, because you can. So just think a little bit about some of the things you get given, like chocolates and goodies, things you buy in the supermarket. I've used boxes at the supermarket before now and painted them up. Okay, so that's the outside of the box all done. Okay, sun's shining through the window right now. So that's the outside of my box done. And then I'm going to put my album in there ready. That's still drying off, but that fits perfectly, as you can see inside there. So that's my album and the bottom bit of my box. We just now need to decorate the top of the box. So I'm going to go ahead again now with some of the Treasured Gold and just go around the edges just to finish that off. Project doesn't take too long to do. I mean, the preparations in painting your box beforehand because it needs a couple of coats. You can use craft acrylic paint, but I just find normal household emulsion works just as well. So, and I'm sure everybody's got a pot of household emulsion kicking around their garden shed or garage that they can use. So I'm just putting a piece of this all the way around the edges here. Now, if you remember on my box in the top lid, we did a little. I did a little saying. It says, "Treasure the moments, for they too become memories." Now, I'm going to put that on the inside of this box because really, whatever photographs go in here, it fits with the project. But if you were putting photographs in here of a holiday, you could put some little journaling of the holiday that you've been on. So the choice is entirely up to you. Okay, so let's just wipe this over and then we can go ahead and we'll decorate the inside of the box first and then we'll do the outside. So that's that finished. Our box first, and I've cut a template here to put on the inside with a saying. So I'm just going to put a little bit of ink just around the edge of this, just because, as I say, I don't like that just cut look. There's a lot of you know watching my tutorials, I'm a bit fussy about things like that. So that just takes that inky edge off there. And then what I've done is I cut the same saying from the other project I did, which is cherish the moments for they too become memories. So I'm going to ink around the edge on this now. I'm just going to take a little bit of the dusty concord around the edge of here. there again, match your inks into the project you're doing. You know, just because I'm doing this colour, it's because I'm using this paper collection, but you know, trying to think of matching your projects with your inks and your papers and everything. If you get everything out ready, it does saves a lot of time when you're putting it all together as well. I'm just taking that, just cut the look off that. I'm just gonna, this is just white paper copier I've used on here. So there again, I mean, if I was doing a particular, I don't know what I'm using this box for at the moment, but if it was going to be, say, a holiday album with some photographs in, I'd probably put, you know, a little bit of journaling about where it was from and, you know, what the project's about, and you could put that on your inside lid. So, you know, it's entirely your preference. And the other thing as well to think about is, I haven't printed this out in black. I've changed the colour font on the Word document on the computer just to a sort of aubergine colour, just so it matches in again with my project. I think I'm going to put some swirls on here as well, just to take the starkness off. So just put some little swirls up. Anything will do. There again, as I say, it's your project, so you choose what you want to put on it. I mean, I'm just doing it this way because I don't like it looking too, you know, just too stark an edge on it. So just use the Dusty Concord there and some swirly stamps for that. So that's that. Put that to the side. So now we can stick that down on the inside of our project here. I'm going to use the Cal glue again. My ink's got a bit blobby end on it. So and the edge on this. I'm putting quite a good covering over on this. I mean, this all-purpose glue does stick to most things, so it's not normally a problem, but just like to stick a good amount. And then you've got a little bit of wiggle room. I've got a bit there, so just wipe that off with my finger. If you rub while it's wet, it comes off your project quite easily, but it does dry clear, so panic not. And as long as you've got it in, you know, the parameters of my box lid. But as I said, I'm using a particular box, you might have a different box, so it's not a problem at all. Put a bit of glue around here now. Stick that on. And by inking that and putting those swirls on, it just takes that edge off there. But that colour matches in quite nicely with the paper collection that we're using. Right, we're going to go ahead now and decorate the front of our lid. Now for this, I'm going to cut 2 pieces of the paper collection. I've picked 2 sheets out here under all my bits and pieces. We'll find them. As I said, the paper collection I'm using is the Time Flies paper collection. I've picked out 2 sheets here. I'm going to put that one behind and then bring this one to the foreground. I'm going to have it that way around. So I need to then cut these down. These need to measure about 6 by 5 if I remember. Yeah. I'm going to go for 6 by 5 inches. So let me just pop that so it doesn't get wet. So I'll cut the bottom one. So that's going to be 5 along the bottom, and that's going to be 6. That's the first piece there, and then the bottom one, I need to change the blade on my trimmer. There we go. 5 along here, and then 6. Blade's come out of my trimmer now, so I definitely need to change my blade. the NDS. I need to change my blade on my trimmer. Right, so let me just tidy up these edges. I'm not very happy with those at all. It's because I've been cutting lots of cardstock for some projects. Right. Now what I'm going to do with this is we're going to layer this on our lid. I'm just taking those furry bits off because I don't like those. So I'm going to get my ink again. And I'm going to ink round the edges of this one. So that's going to be the top corner. So just inking around that edge there. You don't have to ink all the way around on this because you're not going to see it all the way around. It's just on the edges where you see. And then this one I'm going to ink the back of this corner here because I'm going to curl the corner up so it all ties in. So I'm just inking that back corner, and then I'm going to go ahead and just ink on these sides again. There again, you don't need to ink it all because you're not going to see it all once we've got the flowers on. So that's the beauty of these Sprodge mats as well. The ink does go a long, long way. Bring that down there. Even though we're going to see the other side, we're going to curl that up in a minute. You'll just see where this is going to go. Right, I think that will do. Right, so let's bring our lid back into play now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slightly offset these. So that's going to come slightly like that, and I'm going to use a corner up here. Just lining everything up now. And then I've got a photograph here. I don't know what I'm using this project for at the moment, but I've got a photograph of the children like I did on the other project, so we'll just use this for today for these purposes. So if I just put a blob of glue around and then we can cut this out. I can always put another photo in at a later stage. So I'm just going to lay that over there, stick that down. You can see that. Got the sun streaming through the window here at the moment, which is beautiful. So I need now to trim all these pieces off, so I'm going to get my little scissors out for this job. So once you've got your frame, you just go around and trim. Now if any of you have got spellbinders, you can, I'm sure, cut some beautiful frames out with your spellbinders to put on this project. You can always use your Cricut machines as well to cut some fancy shapes. If you've got some templates, you can use those. I mean, I'm just using a shape here that's from a template, but if you want a plainer shape, you can use a plainer shape. The choice is entirely yours. As I say, it's your project, so you can choose how you want to do it. I know a lot of the craft shops at the moment are doing some of the dies that they sell in packets, so if you haven't got a die cutting machine, you want to do that. You can always go on the internet, onto Google, and put template shapes, and you can print off some images from Google as well, free of charge. If you go onto some of them that are free printables, you can do that. I'm just going to put a bit of ink around the edge of the frame. So with this project we're tying in some of the pink from the butterflies, some of the purple as well from the other butterflies that are on the page. Right, that's that. I'm happy with that. So that's then going to go on here. I'll just bring that in. Bring that down. bringing that in, and that frame is going to come into here. And then I've got 3 paper flowers here that I just brought from the craft store. These were very cheap actually. I picked these up for, I think they're only £1 a packet. They weren't very expensive ones. I'm just using a normal wooden barbecue skewer here, because you've got this little wire element on the end of the flowers. I'd like to use that, so I'm just going to twirl those around. So I'm just twirling those round the barbecue skewer. What I do at this stage is I tend to try and layer everything up before I stick everything down, just so in my eye I can see what it looks like before actually sticking all the elements down. Sometimes it's also good, similar with scrapbooking pages, that to lay everything down and walk away and come back in a few hours or the next day and finish it off, because you see things slightly differently. So these are going to go here. I'm going to just bring my frame up a little bit there. And then I've got 2 stick pins here as well that are going to go in as well, 2 hat pins there. So they're going to go in as well. Now I was thinking I might fussy cut that butterfly under here, but I think it's going to be too big. So I think we're going to leave that plain. So I think we'll go ahead now and start layering up. I'm going to curl this corner on this page as well. Barbecue skewer again, or your pokey tool, anything you want to roll it round. And then just unravel it a bit. Just gives a little bit of texture to your page there. Okay, so I think we'll go ahead and start sticking this all together now. So I'm going to stick this one up in that far corner over here. So we've got an element of the purple paper sticking out. So don't always think when you're doing these projects you've got to cover the whole thing. You don't have to at all. Now I'm going to stick the second layer. I'm going to bring this down. So it overlaps at an angle. I'm going to bring the frame in. Just have to think where these metal pieces are going to go. So one's going to go up there, which will draw your eye up into that corner. Yeah, happy with that. So I'll put a bit of glue on the back of this. Stick that down. Just trying to see if I'm still in camera shot. As I say, the sun is streaming through the window, it's beautiful. I'm going to use some glossy accents to glue the metal elements down that we did. You could use PVA glue, glossy accents, anything like that. Hot glue gun, anything like that at all will stick those down. I'm going to bring that right up in that corner. Just hold that down a minute. It's the trouble with these metal elements, they do tend to bend a bit because they are very thin. Just going to hold that down for a moment, just excuse me. Oh, still not wanting to stick today. Typical. That might be stuck enough. I'm going to bring that one down in this corner. Perhaps put a bit more glue on this one. I don't want to put too much glue because I don't want it to come through the metal element itself. there. I'm going to, I think, use some hot glue gun to glue my roses on, purely because I think they may take a little bit longer to glue with the glossy accents. Now what I do with my hat pins is I tend to stick my hat pins in the flower itself first. So if you mind your fingers, you have to excuse me because I'm doing this at a funny angle, but just pop them behind. And then obviously when we then stick with the glue gun as well, you're just reinforcing that. And if you try and do them at a slight angle, that one I'm not happy with, let's put that in again. Nearly pricked myself that time. Oh, now that one's fallen out, typical. As I say, these are just paper flowers. Can use fabric. You can make your own out of the Tim Holtz Tatter Floral die. So yes, that'll be okay there. So let me just position these flowers, then I think I'm going to go ahead and glue those, as I say, with the hot glue gun. Right, so I'm happy with that there. So we'll just bring that gun in now. Blob of glue just to make sure that sticks. Put one down. Just give that a minute to take off. Move the leaves to the side, do the same again. Big blob. So I've got the swirly green bit here coming down at the side there. Now the one with the hat pins. Bring that petal out of the way. Big blob of glue. Just put another bit more, another glue stick down there to push that through. And just lay that one down there. So that's good, happy with that. Okay, so that's the lid of our box all done. That just needs to have a little while to take off that metal there. So that's the lid of the box done. Let's have a look now at the finished product or project. So there we go. So there's our finished project. So that's the decorative box with the mini book inside. So if you have a look now, my perfect pearl should just be about dry, yes. So there's the little butterfly. You could embellish this even more if you wish. But the book opens up, if you remember, with all the pages. As I say, these will take just cut down 6x4 pages in here, so it's quite easy to put in. It's nice to give as a gift like this and let the recipient put their own pictures in as well. So it's a nice little quick project, and you saw how quick the book was to put together. So that's our little mini book. That just slides under there, goes inside the box, fits beautifully inside the box there. All the sides all decorated up. You can go ahead and put some more pearls or ribbon. You can choose anything you like on there. That's the lid of our box on the inside, and then the lid of the box on the outside. So it's a nice quick project. I've used an MDF box here for this. I'll put the link on my website to where you can get those if you are in the UK. But as I say, if you haven't got a wooden or MDF box, you know, use some of the boxes that you get from the supermarket, some of the nice packaging that presents and gifts come in. You know, you can paint up any ordinary household box and make a little mini album to go in it. So I'm Dawn, I'm from Dawn's Inspirations. I hope you've enjoyed this project. I'll put the measurements for the mini book on my website, dawnsinspirations.com, so you can always pick up the measurements for the book in there, or just follow the tutorial and just go over my measurements again. But thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to hearing your comments and hearing from you. You can get hold of me on Facebook, on Twitter or on my website dawnsinspirations.com. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.